Okay. So let's start with today. Our main agenda is to talk about the industrial IT. All right. Maybe some of you already are familiar with Prtg, what we do. We do a lot in all this IT infrastructure monitoring, like routers, switches, firewalls, access points. All this maybe you are already familiar with. But today we'll share you a bit something different, a different kind of verticals, which is the industrial IT. All right, let's have a look. How does this work actually? All right. So how do we bring these two worlds together? You think of industrial and IT. It doesn't really mix together that well. Okay. Let's see on your left-hand side first. It's the IT infrastructure. Okay. So this is all your traditional IT infrastructure, like I said earlier. So any IT environment maybe consists of your routers, servers, storage, switches, all your hardware and software, all this on the IT portion. And then on your right-hand side, which is the OT. So what do you mean by OT actually? Here's how Wikipedia defines OT. It's operation technology. It's a hardware and software that detects or causes a change through the direct monitoring or control of industrial equipment's assets, process, or events. Okay. So OT includes what we call a part called industrial control systems. All right, like for your factory floor and all these kind of things are considered in OT environment as well. And many of these systems historically has been closed and isolated. So they do not need to communicate with the so-called outside world or the internet, I would say. So most of the time they would have their own systems, their own platforms, and also they even have their own standards and protocol as well as a result of this. Now let's move back on the IT side. Okay, let's say you have an IT admin or even a system admin. They are the one who is going to monitor all this IT infrastructure. Okay, and on the other side, on the right-hand side, on the OT environment, this operation technology environment, most of the time you would have a technician or even an engineer who is handling on all these parts. But in reality, nowadays, more and more of these two environments will overlap with each other. Okay. Let me just give you a very simple example of this scenario. If you have an industrial control systems, they are using industrial PC. All right. Will this portion fall under IT or will it be OT? Since this is, although it's an industrial PC, but it's also still a PC. It's an IT equipment. So which one will it fall under to? All right. We have this scenario like this. So this is why what we are trying to do in Prtg is to converge both of these worlds together, all right? Helping these both parties, whether you are managing an IT or even OT, to converge all in a single dashboard or tool to help them to solve the issue quicker. This will really greatly help you to reduce a lot of your downtimes and also increase your productivity because you have a single tool, all of us can look at it together rather than all of us have separate dashboards to look at. All right. Then you will say, how do we achieve this convergence? We have two methods I'm going to share with you today. The first method on the IT portions, you already understand. Maybe you can use different methods or protocols like SNMP, WMI, HTTPS, all this to monitor on the IT environment. For the OT environment, the first method is by using a gateway. So this gateway will act as a middleman, as many machines currently, they might not have any IT compatible protocols yet. And they most of the time communicate still using field bus protocol. So as an example, right now you can see here, we're using this gateway which we can work together in Prtg. It's ICOM Smart Machinery Gateway. It can help you to collect data from actuators, from Siemens, this one S7, it's actually a PLC. You can use Modbus TCP. You can get it from those really sensors, meaning here it's really those physical sensors to measure your temperature, your humidity, all these kind of things. Then all this data will be shown in Prtg. So both the IT and the OT all together in one. The second method is by collecting the data straight from the field bus protocol themselves. So we already have sensors for it to monitor them. So all this protocol, we are able to support. OPC and Modbus are more commonly used in the industrial if you have heard of it before. So Modbus for both TCP and RTU, we are able to support in Prtg. And for MQTT, it will be more of for the IoT environment. So we can directly use this protocol to able to extract the data out as well. Okay. So here are some of the examples what you can monitor using Prtg for the OT. Let's say you have a machinery that can support the protocol that I mentioned just now. So for example, this is what you can see here. You can see on the conveying speed. If you have a conveyor belt, then you can measure on the speeds. Then maybe you can check on the running status of the machines. You can measure on their shunt, whether to push the product or how is it. So all these things we are extracted from the machine itself, then we can display in Prtg using the protocol that we can support. All right. So this really greatly ease to monitoring of the IT and the OT together. All right. And how do we visualize them? The easiest way is to using a dashboard. Okay. Let's say, for example, here, this is an example what we can monitor. And also even solar panels, Prtg, we are able to monitor as well. Currently, like in our headquarters, we have solar panels. We are using a gateway to monitor what is the power that is being generated. And we do even have an electric charging station for cars, electric cars. We're able to see what is the consumption as well. So that, see, with all this gateway and protocol, you can really expand what you can monitor as well. It's not just only on your conventional IT, but also in the OT, also in the industrial as well. It really opened up a great vast of possibilities. And here is another example of a dashboard, how we can use to converge both of these IT and OT together. This is a very, very good example to show you. Okay, let's say on your most left-hand side, you can see on the building technology, it will help you to monitor your temperature, your humidity of the building itself. Then the middle part, you can see you can monitor on your IT environment. Let's say you want to monitor your storage, your cloud service, your email, website, all this on the IT, we are able to have in here. Then on the most right-hand side, you can see on the production environment, what you can monitor. Okay. Then with all this here, you see, you can able to converge all of them monitoring in a single dashboard, so much more easier. So that in case if there's any issues you're facing, both your IT personnel or even the technicians can go in coming together to try to diagnose at least a better idea where the issue might be coming from to really, really greatly reduce a lot of all this unproductive time. Okay. And why do IT or OT professionals rely on the Prtg? What does it mean actually to the users? What are the benefits to them? Okay. So most importantly, you must fulfill their goals. You must know what is the goals of the user. Okay, first, they would like to have the condition monitoring. Let's say they have a factory. It's important to check on the temperature, on the humidity, because the factory needs to be working in a certain environment. Then you can have the condition monitoring. Of course, with all of this all together, you can avoid downtime because Prtg, we do have an early warning system. Then even if you have any issues, at least you would have a centralized alarming so that you will not have, for example, 10 different dashboards to look at. Then 4 of them give you alarm. So which one is going to give you issues? So you have this all converged together, you have a centralized alarming. And then of course, you can help you to optimize and your network and availability of the service. Because with Prtg, you'll have all the historic data you can look at. Then you can see maybe where is the bottleneck at and where you can improve with Prtg. Using this view that you have in Prtg, it can help you as a user. Okay. Once you're able to achieve all of this, you're able to help you to save your time, save your money, and save your nerve, definitely. So that if any issues, you know which tool to look at first, to at least give you a better idea before diving in to know, hey, actually coming from machinery or is it coming from switches or how does it go? It really helps a lot. Okay, what are some of the unique selling points of Prtg? Okay, if you have already been using Prtg, then you know we are actually licensed based on sensors. If you those you don't know, actually Prtg, we are based on sensors. So how do you consist of the sensors? So it's certainly each aspect of one device. In an IT term, easier, for example, ping, CPU, all these are considered one sensors. For the OT, it depends. For example, protocol, you have one Modbus sensors, you can monitor up to 5 of the channels. Then that one Modbus sensor is considered one as well. So this is we are licensed by sensors. And of course, we also have predefined sensors for the OT. Like we said earlier, the few of the protocols that we can support, we have for Modbus, OPC. Later on, I'll go through a bit to let you see what are the sensors that we have, a very brief through. Then we are cross-vendor solutions. We are what we call vendor agnostics. So we do not lock to a specific vendor. As long as those devices, those machineries, they support the protocol that we have, we can help you to monitor within Prtg. And finally, we have all the system all in a glance to have you like using a dashboard to view everything all together. So Prtg is a holistic monitoring solutions. It really helps to bring the element of the IT and the OT all in one view. It really helps to reduce the complexity and also the infrastructure cost, and also to ensure your infrastructure availability. As you see on the right-hand side here, this is some of the examples of what we can do within Prtg to help you to monitor. And what is the benefit to the users? If you are doing as a resellers, first, centralized monitoring of everything for the users. You have predictive maintenance to prevent malfunction and failures. We have the warning inside Prtg. A single pane of glass, and of course, to avoid production loss, because you have a tool to able to give you an overview of everything. Okay. If you want to know more, you can go through some of the resources. Let me just share with you a bit. Because maybe this is something relatively new, then these are other resources you can search out to dive in deeper to have a look. First, we have a solution page within Prtg to let you have an overview of more details on the goals of industrial IT, why you need the industrial IT monitoring. You can have a look in our solution page. We do have product brochures and even demos as well of this industrial IT. Do feel free down here, if you see on the YouTube link, okay, you can get it. Later I'll share it, then you can have a look, an overview of this industrial IT. And of course, you even can get a sensor overview of what we can use these OT sensors to monitor. For example, if you see here, you can see on the Modbus, we support both TCP and RTU. RTU is more of the serial, using serial of Modbus, all right? Then we have OPC UA, MQTT for IoT. And even we have a specialized sensors working together with Backoff. So Backoff, this one is doing more of the industrial PC. We can monitor the PC health using OPC UA. And of course, the conventional IT monitoring, we are still able to do it within Prtg. And of course, please feel free to subscribe to our blog, because our blogs will always have information for you, be it in the industrial IT, in the IoT, in the OT field, or even in general IT, or even some small tips within Prtg to get you keep updated what we are doing here in Prtg and how you can have a bit of, like I would say, use cases, how we are using it in Prtg. All right, thank you everyone for your attention. Maybe next we'll move on to the Q&A sessions. Is there any questions you'd like to ask? Do feel free to chat, or maybe you can voice it out.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Aaron. So thank you everyone for your attention. Is there any questions that you would like to address to Mr. Aaron? That you can feel free to leave it in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself. Do not be shy. Okay, take your time to think some of the questions that you would like to address to Mr. Aaron. So meanwhile, I will share my screen again for our next activities. Okay, so if you have any questions, further information that you needed, so feel free to contact us in you can refer to our website also, or you can email to us sales@secureone.com.my. So, and also we are having a partner newsletter. So if you would like to join our partner newsletter, you can scan the code here. So just fill up some details, then you will receive our monthly newsletter for Prtg. Okay. Next, we will have our first activities. So thank you, Mr. Aaron, for the great information that been shared just now. So we have some quiz here. So just scan the code, and the first 5 person who answer the correct answer, so you will receive a 50 ringgit cash voucher. So for the winner, we'll contact you with email address. Okay. So you can just scan the code now and answer the quiz. Okay, next, as mentioned in the earlier, so we have this early bird registration lucky draw. So those that register before the 21st of June, so you stand a chance to win a 20 ringgit cash voucher. So we have 15 winners. So we will do in a mode of a lucky draw. Thank you everyone for joining our webinar and our quiz questions and also our lucky draw today. So it's been a great honor to have you all with our webinar. If you have any more questions or you are too shy to ask in this webinar, feel free to talk with us, or you just send email to us at sales@secureone.com.my. I think that's our end of our webinar. So those congratulations to our lucky draw winner and also quiz winner. So thank you, Mr. Aaron, for our today's session. I hope this webinar can bring you more sales activities. Okay, so thank you for joining us today. We hope to see you next time. Thank you, Mr. Aaron. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.